you want to play more R&B sounding music or something a little bit more jazzy, you may run out of bandwidth with the C, F, and G. So what do you do instead? You take notes out and you replace those notes with others. So in the case of C, E, and G, you could take out the E and replace it with a D. And you could take out the C and replace it with a B. Now you have a chord that you already know, C being replaced with a G major. Now, how would that sound? Let me give an example. Let's move from C to F. C, F, C, F. Now let me play a G instead of the C. You see that? So I replaced the C with a G. Now, I could put the E back in to give a little bit more suspension. And that could be a replacement. Instead of playing a C, I could play G, B, D, E. Or I could just play G, B, D. It really depends. You see, there's a little bit of a difference. The E kind of makes it a little bit more mellow and familiar, not stark. Like this, yeah, that sounds a little bit more, and I use both. It really depends. Sometimes I could put a G right there at the top. So now you can substitute your C major with a G. Just make sure you're holding a C bass so it doesn't sound weird. You can't replace it with a G on the bass. That's not what I'm talking about. You have a C. So instead of this, you have this. Finally, instead of an F, why don't you just play a C? And that sounds crazy. Playing a C instead of an F? Yeah, but it works. So if I go between G and C, I have a different sound. You see that? So instead of I can play, and I can replace the G with an F altogether. I hope this was of value to you. If you found it helpful, smash the like button and I'll see you next time.